this is the last time they'll let me do it.
I told him to go fly a kite.
If all of a sudden you're not responding well, too bad.
Disney just lost the war. They didn't even know they were fighting. While executives were busy counting profits from the MCU's $28 billion empire, their biggest stars were quietly orchestrating the entertainment industry's most calculated rebellion. The Mouse House is about to learn what happens when you treat billion-dollar talents like replaceable action figures.
It is what it was, and it's my mistake. And I paid for it.
Here's the gut punch that'll make your jaw drop. This wasn't about money or fame. When Jeremy Renner nearly died saving his nephew and came back broken but alive, Disney looked at this real-life hero and said, "We'll pay you half, for a man who literally bled for their brand." That moment shattered something that can never be repaired. The illusion that Disney actually cared about the people, making them billions.
This specific scene was supposed to appear in the early episodes, specifically around episode 2, where Zeke Stain was supposed to actually show Riri Williams this hologram. It turns out, however, that they went against the promise that they actually gave to RDJ when they deleted the scene after multiple test screenings that took place.
Trust became the first casualty in this corporate war. And honestly, it's heartbreaking when you realize the scope of betrayal. Robert Downey Jr., the man who single-handedly launched a $28 billion franchise, wasn't even invited to recent Marvel projects until they desperately needed him for last-minute reshoots. Imagine being the architect of someone's empire, then watching them build new rooms without telling you. That's not just professional disrespect, that's emotional warfare.
Recently, Robert Downey Jr. is even more upset about is that now both Disney and Marvel have fully agreed to never show these scenes on social media in the form of deleted material.
Netflix saw this tension brewing from miles away and didn't just offer better paychecks. They offered something Disney had never provided: genuine partnership. We're talking about deals that make actors stakeholders rather than employees, complete with creative control that would make traditional studio executives break out in cold sweats. These weren't desperate moves by a streaming platform. This was strategic warfare.
If all of a sudden you decide you don't want to do them anymore, you're afforded the opportunity to take a step back and recalibrate. When you have a giant contract, if all of a sudden you're not responding well, too bad. You got to suit up again. That was scary.
Smart money recognizes opportunity when it knocks. While Disney was busy micromanaging every aspect of their stars' careers, Netflix was crafting agreements that treated A-list talent like the business partners they actually are. Executive producer credits, final cut approval, revenue sharing, and protection against AI replacement. These deals addressed every grievance that had been building for years.
Someone's been run over by a snowcat. Hurry. He's been crushed.
Okay, we have...
Send paramedics to ambulance.
Everyone's on the way right now.
Suddenly, we're seeing projects that feel personal rather than committee designed. Jeremy Renner's comeback vehicle tackles real trauma and recovery, themes that would never survive Disney's focus group testing. Scarlett Johansson's thriller about AI-generated celebrity trafficking hits uncomfortably close to home, almost like she's warning us about something she's seen behind closed doors.
According to Scorsese, it's not cinema. I got to take a look at that, you know?
Robert Downey Jr.'s satirical take on failing superhero studios using AI and cryptocurrency? That's not a coincidence. That's a man with insider knowledge throwing shade at his former employers. When the guy who launched your entire cinematic universe creates content that mocks everything you stand for, you've officially lost the plot.
Chris Hemsworth took over a weekend weathercross. Beck Madden and I had absolutely no idea, as you can tell.
Each project represents more than just creative freedom. They're strategic strikes against the Marvel formula. Chris Hemsworth is abandoning mindless action for climate-conscious storytelling. Tom Holland is trading spider suits for Formula One racing drama. And Anthony Mackie is directing instead of just starring. These moves signal a fundamental shift in how talent views their relationship with major studios.
Obviously, all-around deals have existed forever, but I think these studios and Netflix shows how you can do the accounting in maybe a more favorable way.
Disney's response has been textbook panic management. Internal memos about reclamation protocols and finding younger, cheaper replacements reveal a company that still doesn't grasp what's happening. You can't replace star power with spreadsheet calculations, and trying to use AI to recreate actors you've alienated is basically admitting you've lost the human element that made your content special.
Townsville, sunny, good, 28 as well. Sunshine Coast, shower or two, 22, so maybe get a raincoat ready there.
Meanwhile, Netflix isn't just signing individual actors. They're building an interconnected entertainment ecosystem that directly competes with Disney's model. The Fortnite partnership alone is genius-level strategic thinking. They've created a multimedia experience that Disney legally can't touch, because these are Netflix originals, not Marvel properties.
His life, they're going to tell it and so on, and had a conversation with him maybe a year ago, and it took a different sort of creative, journey, I guess.
And for Netflix, though?
Yeah.
Economics tells the real story here. Netflix projects are pulling in subscriber numbers that justify massive investment, while Disney's recent Marvel releases have been struggling with audience fatigue. When your former stars are generating better returns for your competitors than your current projects are for you, that's not just embarrassing. It's financially devastating.
But I think it would have been a very interesting take to see how that would have actually steered things in a different direction.
Industry insiders are watching this transformation with fascination because it represents everything Hollywood has been moving toward. The old studio system, where talent was locked into restrictive contracts, is dying, and these Avengers are leading the charge toward creator-owned content. They're not just changing jobs, they're changing the entire power dynamic. CTA. If you're still not convinced this is the biggest shakeup in entertainment history, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will make Disney's stock price look like a roller coaster. And we're just getting started. Younger actors are watching this rebellion and learning from it. The days of signing decade-long contracts that trap you in a single character are ending. Future stars will demand the same partnership terms that Netflix pioneered, forcing all studios to adapt or lose top talent to competitors who understand the new rules.
They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money.
Disney might have the biggest marketing budget and decades of brand recognition, but they're fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's weapons. When your biggest assets become your biggest critics, publicly creating content that mocks your business model, you've lost more than just talent. You've lost credibility. Checkmate came when these actors proved they could build successful franchises without Disney's involvement. Netflix's subscriber growth from these projects demonstrates that audiences will follow talent wherever they go, regardless of studio branding. The Mouse House is learning that star power trumps corporate power every single time. Revolution isn't too strong a word for what we're witnessing. This isn't just about better contracts or creative freedom. It's about fundamentally restructuring how entertainment gets made and who controls the profits. The Avengers assembled one last time, but this time they're fighting for artistic independence rather than saving the world.
Every time I play Thor, I'm like, this is the last time they'll let me do it.
Behind closed doors, the emotional toll was devastating. Chris Hemsworth openly admitted that Marvel's relentless schedule left him physically and mentally drained. Think about that. Thor himself, the god of thunder, was burned out by Disney's machine. When actors who've spent a decade building your universe start talking about exhaustion and creative imprisonment, you've crossed a line that separates business from human decency.
Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney, and it has to do with how the company released Black Widow, the film, of course, of which she is the star.
Scarlett Johansson's legal battle over Black Widow revealed something even more sinister. She didn't just sue for money. She exposed Disney's willingness to break contracts when it suited them financially. Her public statement, calling Disney's actions shocking and aggressive, wasn't lawyer speak. It was a woman who felt genuinely betrayed by people she trusted. The psychological impact of that betrayal runs deeper than any court settlement.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay me half?
What makes this even more tragic is how Disney's executives apparently learned nothing from these warning signs. Internal communications show they were more concerned about replacing these actors than understanding why they were leaving. One leaked memo actually discussed using AI to recreate performances without actor consent, essentially planning to steal their digital souls after driving away their physical presence.
And this is not Marvel, mind you, this is like this Disney not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told them to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer.
Desperation reached peak levels when Disney started floating the idea of setting future stories so far in the future that character names could be treated as legends rather than roles requiring actual actors. Translation: they were ready to erase the human element entirely rather than admit they'd mismanaged their most valuable assets. That's not business strategy. That's corporate sociopathy.
Pretty unconstructive conversations between ScarJo's representation and Disney executives.
Netflix executives must have been laughing at the sheer incompetence of it all. Here's Disney, sitting on the most valuable entertainment property in history, systematically alienating every actor who made it successful. Meanwhile, Netflix swooped in with offers that treated these same actors like the creative partners they'd always deserved to be. It's almost embarrassing how obvious the solution was.
You know, streaming versus cinema, it's a very different experience, but as long as we're still able to tell stories.
Timing couldn't have been more perfect for this rebellion. Disney's recent Marvel releases have been struggling with audience fatigue, while Netflix's actor-driven projects are pulling in massive subscriber numbers. The market is literally telling us that audiences prefer authentic storytelling over corporate manufactured content. These actors didn't just leave Disney, they proved Disney wrong about everything.
The Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld stuff that everyone became enamored with after those guys made hundreds of millions of dollars on Seinfeld reruns, that feels like it's kind of going away.
Game over indeed. Disney built an empire on these actors' backs, then forgot that empires fall when you mistreat the people who built them, and now they're watching their former stars build competing kingdoms with better rules. The Mouse House is about to learn that in Hollywood, loyalty is a two-way street, and they just got hit by a freight train going the wrong direction.